basically got a phone call from him 2 weeks before filming, 2 weeks before we had to leave for Berlin, and he was just like, "Hey, I got this movie, and you're gonna be a bastard. You're gonna be smashing people. You're gonna be beating people up. You're gonna be scalping them. You're gonna be shooting them and killing them, and you're gonna be led by Brad Pitt. And basically, I want you to come to Berlin with us and be a bastard."
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, I've been preparing for this my whole life. When all the 8 bastards got to Berlin, Quentin brought us all into a room and said to us, "I know you're all excited to be here, and this is a real fun experience for you guys, but I got to remind you of what we're really doing here." And he played some Nazi propaganda films for us.
Yeah.
That really showed us, the horrors of what the Nazis thought of the Jews and how they portrayed them, and they were talking about them like rats, and to really remind us of what we're really doing here, what really happened, and that this was serious. And it definitely got us into the mode of being bastards, and the anger and the everything that we had to go through.
We're gonna be dropped into France dressed as civilians. We're gonna be doing one thing only. Killing Nazis.
I read somewhere that the fire was actually out of control, and I don't know if your lives were in danger in that scene.
Our lives were definitely in danger in that scene. Because, like I said before, Quentin does not like CGI. So all the fire you see in that movie was real. There was a 100-foot wall of flames.
Yeah.
And when we burst through that door, the stunt coordinator told me beforehand, he's like, "Listen, if anything goes wrong, we're going to pull you out." And so when we went in there, it was not supposed to be that hot. And so Eli and I started feeling the skin on the backs of our necks burning. And also I was in front of him, so the side of my face started burning. We had to go through 3 clip changes on the guns, and so we didn't want to stop because we knew we didn't have many chances to get this shot, and we didn't want to let Quentin down, and so we just kept going as long as we could. And then finally they pulled us out, and then our faces and necks were burned, and we had to go to the emergency room. And they say if we would have stood there for, a few more seconds, we could have lost our lives. He really burned this whole building down. So after he yelled cut. Well, it wasn't cut. It was a big horn he had to blow because fire is very loud, so nobody could hear anything.
Yeah.
And so everybody, the whole set, the whole crew, all the actors had to run out of the building like it was a fire drill every time he yelled cut because the whole building came down.
Margheriti. Margheriti. E lei?
Dominic De Coco.
Com'è?
Dominic De Coco.
Bravo. Bravo.
I know that he likes to film extra scenes and film longer than the movie it's actually going to be. Did you do any extra scenes that weren't on the movie?
Yes. There were more Italian scenes of Eli and I that didn't make it.
Der Kameramann Antonio Margheriti und Antonios Kameraassistent Dominic De Coco.
It wasn't really supposed to be a good accent, so I didn't have to really, study too much. But he did. There was one time when, before we were about to start filming, where he invited Eli and myself to his apartment in Berlin, and we sat around a table, and he was just like, "Go ahead, speak fake Italian for a few minutes for me." And we had to make it as bad as we could.
And did you know any Italian, and you had to fake it, or you didn't know anything and it was easier for you?
Un pochino.